Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we'll be looking into a small demonstration on how you can use React and ExpressJS as your front-end and back-end for your application. So let's begin. As you have seen in my previous videos how I use React and how I used ExpressJS to build up applications using REST APIs and all that, but in this specific video I'll be only demonstrating you how you can use React as a front end and ExpressJS as your backend. So the idea behind this video is that we'll be using ExpressJS to serve REST API JSON response. It will act as a um, REST API URL endpoint, and that URL endpoint will be used by our React application in our front end. So if you have seen my previous videos in React, how I have used API endpoints to fetch content from somewhere and build up a web page or something like that, but in this video I'll be doing everything from scratch, so stay tuned in that. So first of all, let's create an empty folder that is React Express and open it within any editor. If you have VS Code, prefer that. So let's open that folder in VS Code. Now the next thing which you'll need is ExpressJS, but before that you will require Node.js as a default in your system. After installing Node.js, you can go and navigate to Google and find for Express generator. So this is the npm module which we are going to use to build up a skeleton of the Express backend which we will be using, which I'll be showing you in a minute. So this is the npm module. Go ahead and download this. If you haven't watched my previous Express videos, please do watch. I have shown a brief demonstration on how to use npm packages and how to use them for your projects. So copy this and install it globally using your terminal. The machine which I'm using right now is Linux, so you can just do something like this. Install global express generator, right? So once you hit this, the module will be installed globally. So this G means global, and you don't have to worry about repeating the installation, right? So this is done. After doing this, just navigate to your VS Code. As we see in here, there is no other folder right here, but we'll create one now. So just create a new folder and name it as Express Backend. Okay. Now open this folder in the integrated terminal and let's type in the command express and your backend name, whatever you want to name it as. I'll just name it as my server. Sorry. So you will get a basic structure of folders and files and things like that. Once you're done with that, please uh, navigate to the application my server. You won't see it over here, but you can navigate into that folder. So this is that, and npm install. So once this is done, you will see a bunch of folders and files and the basic structure of Express application you'll get. So this is very helpful when you are building your Express application for your backend and stuff like that. So this is done. Let's clear this. Now just cancel this. The file which we are going to mess with is within your routes folder, users.json. So what we'll do is uh, we'll provide a JSON response your front end in React, and the JSON response will consist of user ID and usernames. That's it, nothing much. So over here, let's cancel this and type in JSON. So this is your JSON response. As you can see over here, you can change as per your preference, but this is the least simplest thing you can do. So you just need to go within your routes folder, and within your routes folder you just need to change the users.js. That's it. So the index.js will be as it is, and you can copy this, and if you want, you can provide your own input. So once you're done with this, we are done with our backend. So this is your basic route, and whatever route it's going to hit in the front end, it will provide a JSON response. So I'll just show you in a minute in the browser how this server works. So save it, and I guess we're done with this. So let's see what response we get in the browser, right? So let's run the server. To run the server, you can just provide this command port. Make sure you are within your root directory of your my server folder, not the express backend folder. So as you can see, the routes my server, so make sure you are within your my server folder and hit the command this node bin www. So this is how you run when you are using express generator. So as you can see, you will not see any response in console, but let's navigate to your browser and open localhost 1. So this is basically your express app itself, right? So over here you can see your app is running. Now let's uh, navigate to users. So as you can see, you will get a JSON response as we have created in our users profile, right? OkayDexter and Brian. So when you are hitting this users route with this entire URL, you will get a JSON response. This route and this JSON response is the response which we are going to use in our React app, right, to build a simple page, right? So this is your basically your REST API endpoint if you are going to run it in your Express backend. So this is a very small application of how you can do this. Express can build up REST APIs very quickly and easily, but this is just a small demonstration of it. So users is your route or endpoint with local host as your host URL, and users is an endpoint where you will get a JSON response of something like this, right? So as you can see, our server is up and running. Let's navigate to Postman and check what we get. So you know Postman, right? Postman is basically used to check the REST APIs and play with REST APIs and things like that, right? So our Postman is up and running, and let's create a new tab and do a GET request local host 301 users. Let's see what we get. So similarly, as our browser response, we get a JSON response. So this is our API endpoint for getting users. So this is the URL which we are going to use it in our React application. So let's close this. Let's keep this open and let's navigate to this. So as you can see, these are our responses, and we get the logs and things like that, right? So now we'll keep this up and running. Let's open a new terminal within the VS Code itself, and let's create our React app. So the folder structure right now for our entire application is something like this. So the React Express app, within that main folder you have Express Backend, and my server is your Express app. So this is basically your uh, backend running your user's API endpoint and providing you the JSON response. Now let's create your React. So create a new folder and name it as React Frontend. Okay, that is not exactly, yeah, React Frontend. Now let's navigate. So we know that we are in the new terminal, right? So over here you have the old Express app running in your Express backend my server root folder, and this is your new terminal, right? So make sure you are now whatever process or whatever installation which we are going to do is within the React Express app. So make sure you are in the root folder of that terminal. Now let's install a basic React app. So if you are not familiar with that, please do watch my previous videos on React. You'll get an idea. So express npx create React app and your app name, my front end. So this command will basically install a whole structure of React, and it will provide you a bare bone React app, a default boilerplate with some code along with it and stuff like that. So it will install some dependencies, it will take some time. So, and by the time our Express server is also running, so it's good. It will take some time. So the main reason of providing the port number as 3001 is because when you start your React app, it is going to start in port number 3000 as default. So make sure you don't conflict those port numbers when you're running your Express server as well as you're running your React server. So make sure you have a different port numbers or ID, whatever you call it as. Make sure those are different. So name it uniquely. By default, React runs on port 3000, but over here you can provide whatever port number you want. So you can provide it as the 3001. I think it will take some time. So we are done with installation of React, and as you can see, you will see a folder within the my frontend folder, React frontend, and within that, let's clear this out. You'll see a bunch of code around that. Okay, so my frontend, and this is your React basic application. So I guess we don't need this. So let's see what our React app looks like. Okay, so let's navigate to React Express, right? So let's navigate to my front end and let's start our basic React app. So by default, React will run on localhost 3000, as you can see. So this is your basic React app. So this React app, which we are going to use it with our Express backend. So basically you will have this response in this page. So as you can see, both are up and running, both are running perfectly. Now let's navigate to the source folder, and within that we'll uh, go to the app.js file. So let's remove this function because this is a function method of providing or creating the component, functional component, what we call it as. And let's create a class component because we are going to use states within that. RCE, let's remove this, or we can just keep that for the logo or app.css. Yeah, that's fine. And we are good if you can see. Yeah. Okay, so let's remove this as well, and create a state users, and let's name it as array. So this is going to be an array, and we will be having uh, the JSON response stored in this array. So let's see how we can do that. So component did mount is what we actually use for making API calls and things like that to store data from an external endpoint and render it using React. So let's use fetch, and what is our what is the URL which we've been using, right? So users, let's navigate to users. So this is our endpoint, but in this will be not using the entire URL. The front part, the localhost 301 is being proxied within the React app, so we'll be not using the entire URL. So let's do then. Yeah, so this is how we'll be using the component did mount method to fetch the JSON response using the fetch module, and store it in within the state users. Now let's proxy the localhost 301. So let's navigate to package.json within the React app, and let's provide a key over here, proxy local host 301, and so yeah, save this, and let's render the page. So let's navigate to this. So this is going to be our basic template of a div consisting of a user h1 and a div mapping over or looping over the user's JSON. So let's see what we get. So as you can see, we have also proxied the response. So this is the method which we basically use for not showing your host URL to the front end. So you can proxy this URL. For example, if you are fetching from a YouTube API and you want to show www.youtube.com or something like that to your front end, you can proxy it using another URL, example a URL of your own name, right? So you can use this method. So I guess we are done. This is the changes which we have done in our app.js within the source folder, and that's it. We are making an API call to our backend API, which is running, and yeah, as you can see, the API is still running in the backend, which is this terminal, and this is our React server. So this is the code to it, and let's see what are the results. So let's stop the server, and npm start. So we have some proxy. We must start with either. Okay, sorry, I just forgot to provide HTTP. So as you can see, this is our response, users, OkayDexter, and Brian. So this is our React server, React app. As you can see, proxying or taking the response from our backend and rendering it into the React page or component. So this is the basic idea of our application, and as you can see, the server is still up and running. If you hit the route localhost 301/users, you will see the JSON response, and this is the exact URL which we are using currently in our React app, and we are proxying the localhost 301 in our React app using this method, proxy HTTP localhost. So you can use this method to mask your host URL endpoint, and these are the changes which we have done. This is the URL/users, which is providing a response from our backend, Express backend, which is still running in our another terminal. And yeah, this was it for this video. And this is how you can use React as a front end and Express as a backend to provide a single functionality like a REST API functionality for your entire application. So you can use these two frameworks to build your application. So yeah, this was the idea around this, how you can integrate two major frameworks and build a simple application. This was the least idea about it, but you can expand this application and build a robust website around it, or a web page around it. So yeah, this is what the folder structure looks like. This is our backend folder which is running our Express server, and this is our front end having the React application. So if you guys have any doubt regarding this, please do comment down below, and if this video was helpful in any manner, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting more videos regularly, and yeah, thanks for watching.